Good evening, welcome. Just a quick reminder about recording. Meetings being recorded by the Town Council. Recording device is sensitive and you cannot be edited, so not say anything you do not want recorded. If necessary, I will direct all recording in the room to be stopped. Generally, I want to avoid doing that, so we'll normally record everything except any item taken in closed session. Members of the public may also make their own recordings, must follow our rules of doing so, including stopping recording when requested. Whilst we do not accept anonymous speaking in a public forum, members of the public who wish to speak but who do not want their name published must please indicate this before saying their piece. Item 1, apologies for absence.
We have apologies for absence from Councillor Gary Stroud, Councillor Julie Stroud, Councillor Mary Martin.
Any others? Councillor Carr. Okay. Item 2, declaration of interest, request for dispensations. Do any members have any interest they wish to declare? Have there been any dispensation? No. Anyone wish to read anything there? No. Thank you. Item 3, straight on to the minutes of the full council meeting held the 27th of January. Have members got copies?
There are spares if anyone hasn't brought this with.
Yes, please.
Check for accuracy first. I fear if yours is the same as mine, all the pages are numbered 179. So for accuracy first, please. The first page. The second page. Third page. Fourth page. Fifth page. And the sixth page. There are 2 further sheets attached to appendices containing the comments submitted. An agreement with signing those as a true record?
Yeah.
Okay. Matters arising. Are there any urgent matters arising? We need to go page by page. Anybody got anything to read it? No matters arising? Then we'll pass on. Thank you very much. We now adjourn the meeting for the public forum. I don't think there's a police report today.
We do have a police report, yes.
We do have a police report, right?
Read it through.
We have a written report from the police, so Town Clerk will read that to us, then I'll take questions.
Crime and antisocial behaviour in Haverhill. The general picture is good. We have less crime and ASB this year than our 3-year average. Our detection rate at 34.9% in Haverhill Town is very good. Figures as follows. This year first, 3-year average second. Total reported crime 1588 against 1622. Total antisocial behaviour 843 against 1218. Domestic burglary 51 against 55. Vehicle crime 118 against 176. Criminal damage 325 against 386. Public order 66 against 97. Violence with injury 191 against 177, so that's up. Sexual offences 38 against 29. Drug offences 91 to 66. And shoplifting 180 to 100 compared to 127. Report on the priority setting meetings for the SMT in future engagement. Suffolk Force is moving away from SMT priority setting meetings. We recognise the meetings aren't truly reflective of the wider community and the priorities raised are often only of concern to a very small number of residents. The Haverhill meetings were very widely seen as being the best in Suffolk. We had more residents attending the meetings and we introduced live streaming of the meeting and online voting, allowing us to open the meetings up to people who would otherwise have been able to attend, such as young mothers with children and disabled people. However, the meetings at Haverhill still need to include a wider range of participants, such as young people from the town and foreign/minority ethnic residents. I'm working with the SNT Chair, Councillor Tim Marks, and a small group of councillors and interested parties to find ways of enlarging the appeal to a wider section of the town. We hope to announce what these new arrangements will look like by the end of May. I'll be very interested to hear from the town councillors if they have any ideas that could be included in this review. The new meeting will have a different format and will be about engagement. What we won't return to, however, is the previous system of public priority setting. Our severe budget cuts, we need to save 20.5 million by 2019-20, will mean that we need to concentrate the efforts of all staff members and officers into those areas that could cause residents in Haverhill the most risk of threat, risk and harm. Put simply, I want the SNT officers to become expert in dealing with victims of domestic abuse and violence. I want them to be able to spot victims of child sexual exploitation in town and be trained to help any child victims identify. I want them to develop very strong working relationships with those other agencies that are dealing with the most complex and long-running ASB issues in Haverhill. SNT officers need the time and space to be able to focus and develop expertise in new and growing areas of the business for the police. They won't be moving away from all their current role, which focuses greatly on public engagement. They will, however, have to become much more deeply involved in the most serious problems our town faces, says Inspector Peter Ferry.
Councillor Goody.
I'm a little concerned that I learned today that shoplifting is not considered by the police to be an offence unless there's a sum of £200 involved. So the small shopkeepers in the town who lose £10, £15 a time, that's not considered an offence by the police and they're not bothered with it. With all these cutbacks, I can see the borders being drawn further and further back. That's quite concerning for me.
Thank you, Councillor Goody. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on the SNT situation. I am particularly saddened and disappointed that that decision's been made, and I do understand that probably behind it is resourcing and funding. But the feedback from the residents was they got to know their local police officer, they got to know Inspector Ferry, and a lot of them were pleasantly surprised how easy it was to speak to the police informally, build up relationships, could say to their children, if you've got problems, the police are approachable, they're friendly, etc. The SNT, obviously, the officers of the SNT obviously had a job of work to do, and whatever we raised, they should have been working on those things anyway. But the benefits were they could put more resources into the things that we identified that we wanted for our communities. And I'm a bit disappointed that we're going to lose that. The other thing that I am more concerned about is we've not had no indication who's going to replace Will as the domestic violence officer who specifically had that individual responsibility. I noticed in his report he said that officers are going to be trained up to support residents that experience domestic violence and child abuse, etc. But Will had a special responsibility which I think should be replaced. He did say that was likely to happen, but that's not in his current report. So I would like you, if you would, Colin, to find out what's happening on that front.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Councillor Hanlon.
Yeah, on this small committee, there's a borough council representative, a county council representative, and a town council representative. Now, at the moment, I am one of those representatives on the town council. My worry is that if I don't get elected next May, which I hope I will be, but if I don't, then we won't have a town council representative on this small group. And I think we should be represented on this group. And I just wonder if, you know, it'd be on the agenda, or to make sure from the Chief of Police that there will be a town councillor representative on that committee.
Thank you. Councillor Turner.
Yes, going back to the figures, can we ask Inspector Ferry that for the next police report that he includes not only the current figures versus the 3-year average, but also the comparison of those to the national crime statistics and the national crime average. Because I understand how we're doing against ourselves in Haverhill, but are we really doing as well or better than the state, or are we doing worse? So are we keeping up with the status quo with the rest of the country? I'd like to have some idea of that in the figures.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Thatcher?
I feel it's a shame that that group disbanded, but does it need to be totally disbanded? It's made quite a big impact on the town and the visual impact on it as well. And could it not be police-led with a different group of people running it? Tim Marks, for instance, has been quite involved in it, and several others. Perhaps it was just police-led rather than police-run. I wonder if something could be set up like that.
I'm bound to say that's a matter for the groups that are working on the SNT demise. I agree with you entirely.
Well, it's still fresh.
We need to have a process for ensuring that local priorities are met, and that we make know their local priorities.
But there's so much work on into it already. I feel it's a shame to lose it.
Anybody else?
Okay, can I just say that it's come from up high in the Police Officer Federation. Because they've got to save quite a bit of money, apparently, because of the cuts coming from the government. So that's why they've got to do away with it completely and put resources, the small resources they've got, into other areas and not SNT areas, you know, like parking and things like that, and high street problems and what have you. They've got to concentrate their resources in other areas.
On those grounds, I think it would be rather nice to have a town council grant to help support something like that, rather than some other unnecessary thing.
Given that there is a group of people who haven't been appointed, our councillors happy to appoint Councillor Hammond to continue to represent us on the group as it goes on to find other solutions, which may well be funded by other people. And I hope you'll pursue the fact that we're not actually interested in the money, we're actually interested in ensuring that policing meets our local needs, and that's what the SNT was about.
Right.
Councillor Turner.
Yeah, just final thoughts on that. But if it's, the interest is in saving money, one would have thought that first community engagement would have been a primary objective, and that's lost by the withdrawal of this facility for community engagement from that same police force. I would very much like to have our police commissioner come to talk to us a little bit about this and to explain just exactly how they're going to make up for the loss of community and interaction.
I have to say the information we've had so far, Councillor Turner, is it's not a decision of the Police and Crime Commissioner. This is a decision of the operational arm.
Yes, but isn't he supposed to fight on the people's behalf because he's elected?
Could I just formalise the endorsement of Councillor Hammond as our representative there? All those in favour? Okay. Give a bit more power to your elbow when you're talking. I'm not sure it makes a big difference. If you pass on from that, I have had a written report from Councillor Brown, which has been circulated to councillors. I hope you had the opportunity to read it, confirming that there's changes to the White Line Commons Road. But the full report is the highways full reporting tool is now up and running, whatever you think of it. On some of the highways also, Mill Road and Park Camps Road is being resurfaced at the end of March, which I know has been a grave concern to many people. He also mentions he's organised with SCC for them to clean the railings as part of our spring clean effort, put shine on and they've had an update on the signalised crossing for the Sainsbury's bus stop, which you'll be aware has been a matter of campaigning for some time. Design work to be completed by July, construction between October and December. So that's all good news. Councillors wish to ask any questions on Councillor Brown's?
Can we just thank him for his endeavours?
And that reminds me, I should have given Councillor Towns and Councillor Flowers apologies as well, I think.
We've also had a long piece from John. Thank you, John. If you don't mind, I'll read through it and pick up the points as I go through. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's up to you whether we discuss it now or just... can I just follow up on that slightly? I believe at Borough Council last week, Tony Brown brought this subject up with a particular councillor over there, and he is waiting for a response from that councillor as to whether any decision regarding the community centre will be deferred until after the election.
He raised it, Chair, with Sarah Marmaid White at the meeting. She didn't have time to respond to him at the full meeting, so she was going to respond to him in writing. So I'm assuming he must have...
Nothing's happened yet.
Nothing's happened yet. Okay.
So I wonder whether we just want to... I mean, it's just
She may
information
need
at
reminding.
this stage rather than...
Yeah.
Councillors have had the full screen, I hope you had a chance to look at it. John's report mentioned that he's been trying to get responses to questions from SCBC about Chalkstone Community Centre and don't seem to have much luck. He's concerned that nobody's been consulted from the estates and points out that the Chalkstone Community Centre is equidistant from the town centre to the Magistrates' Court, so either of those would be as approximate as the other to the town centre. The response to those particular parts, John, is we understand that the River Life Church will seek to offer community use of the facility, so we don't expect it to be lost to the facility. This should enable appropriate youth activities to be offered there. In considering the location for the youth hub, our research for young people revealed that the location should be central, close to existing what we called hangouts, which were largely centred on the Market Square, Queen Street and the Wreck, and preferably not on an existing estate where it may appear to be just for that estate only. It's my experience of youth work generally that young people tend to be somewhat parochial, and ownership of this centre across the town and not just for the estate is very important. John went on to say that it would appear from search of Town Council minutes there's been no discussion regarding the centre since 2012. John understood that the Town Council was actively involved in a possible takeover of the centre in the same way that we did the Leaston Centre, and he's interested to know why we didn't continue to do so and why we're specifically supporting the River Life Church takeover. In response to that, the Town Council has previously explored management of the Chalkstone Centre and found information on the condition and income expenditure records entirely shrouded in obscurity, which no doubt explains why you're having such a problem getting answers to your questions. It is not the role of the Town Council to seek to compete with local community bodies seeking to develop community assets. Our role is to protect community services and ensure continuing access. Local councils have worked with CATRA to explore that association taking on the centre. CATRA did not consider they had the capacity, even with support from the Town Council. The Town Council have not been consulted on the transfer to River Life Church. John went on to say it's understood we're moving towards taking, the Town Council currently moving towards taking on the ownership of the Leaston Centre. That centre will benefit the residents from the south side of town by being under control of the Town Council, despite a relatively modest cost to the taxpayer. And John's concerned that the residents living north of the town will be denied such a luxury, and looking towards a 40% population increase, it seems sad to be losing a valuable asset in the centre of that potential area. Response to that, John, is when the Town Council intervened on the Leaston Centre, the existing community group which had been running the centre was unable to continue, and the prospect was for the centre to fall into disuse. The Town Council had clear and complete information available on both the condition and the income and expenditure, largely thanks to the community group that had been running it. And we had the opportunity to administer the facility in place of the local group for a period to establish sustainability of the community resource. There were no other groups with the capacity or the will to take on the centre. The proposed developments to the northeast and northwest will include further community facilities located closer to those new communities. And finally, John mentions the prospect of a peppercorn purchase price, and despite the lack of efforts by St Edmundsbury to market the facility, given the current profitability, it should be a no-brainer for the Town Council to take on the centre for its residents. Our response to that is the Town Council have no indication that the transfer to River of Life will diminish the community resource, and it is anticipated that the River of Life have the capacity to extend the use and retain a sustainable community resource. The Town Council fully concurs with the view that local residents should be consulted and expects SCBC to conduct that consultation. It's by way of an answer, but you might get more from others now. Councillor Goody.
just like to let everyone know that Catra is having a meeting at 7:30 tomorrow night at the community centre, and the representative from St Edmundsbury is coming down to answer questions. If anyone here wants to join us, you're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor Goody. Councillor Turner.
Yeah, I just want to add to what the Chair said, that taking on the Leaston Centre was an act of last resort, and we paid full attention and full due diligence before considering taking it on. There was a lot of very careful risk management that went on before we adopted it, and we certainly are not in that position for anything else, and we wouldn't advise to any future members of a future council after May taking on anything without following the exact same due diligence and looking for a local community to run it. It's not our job to run those, and we wouldn't want it to take on the Leaston. It really was an act of last resort to keep it going for the community. In which case we stepped in and said yes, we'll do it, and it makes sense to continue doing that because there's not any other option available. So,
Thank you, Councillor Turner.
Can I just come back? Oh, sorry.
Councillor Turner.
So let me get this right. The Children's Community Centres could be given to the County Council, whatever. It's not our building at the moment, is it?
It's not being given to us, it's
No.
being passed over to River of Life Church.
It's a lovely building, it's good condition, good position. It's a shame to give that up, don't it? Really.
Well, River of Life guarantees it will be made available for community use. It's not being given up, it's going to continue to be used in the way that it is. But it wasn't, when it was offered last to the Town Council, there was no information and there were grave concerns about the condition of the building.
Seems very good in there, so, just in a shame. I mean,
the
Rivers of Life dictate what goes in that building, they must have got it, they dictate what's going on, mate. Well, they would be under the council jurisdiction, how would that work?
The council, the terms and conditions for the Chalkston are the same as for Leiston. You take on the ownership of the building on condition that you keep it in full community use with no discrimination whatsoever. So effectively it should continue to be used in exactly the same way, only instead of being maintained by the taxpayer, it's maintained by a voluntary organisation.
Because it's quite from that option, because it's used quite regularly, they've been friendly screen music a couple of times a week and blah blah blah.
They can't stop it.
They can't stop
and
it.
they don't intend to in any case.
Right.
Councillor McClatchy.
I had already spoken to them, the River of Life leaders, because of the involvement of the church on the Chapel Road area, and they said that they had to give an assurance to County Council that it would not just be for religious purposes, but for community purposes as well.
Thank you for enforcing that, Councillor.
John, yes, sorry. I've got no problem with the Leaston Centre, so I don't know if I've never had a problem with that. It's just that, from what I'm understanding, the building does make a profit. I understand it is being effectively given to the River of Life Church for a peppercorn ring, and I think my main objections are a lack of consultation, the parking issues. Catra, I know, objected to it as well, even though the press stated there were no objections to it. And I think that's what it comes down to, and that's one of the reasons that Councillor White, I can't pronounce her name.
Yes, Sarah Markman.
Sarah Markman, was approached with a load of questions, and even the people actually in Stratford Square are not being consulted. Apart from I believe Councillor Goody and everyone as well. So there seems to be a complete lack of consultation, which is a big problem.
I should make it entirely clear the Town Council supports you entirely.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm pleased to hear that.
And we will
Pleased to hear that. So thank you for that.
Just a question I'd like to ask that. Would the maintenance of the building be subject to the responsibility of the council or the church itself?
Whoever takes on responsibility for the building takes on responsibility for the maintenance. When we took on the Leaston Centre, we had to make provision for potential repairs. And the normal approach of Town Council is to have a fund that grows annually to replace things like roofs. One of the issues we had when we first spoke about Chalkston was that there was no indication that such a fund existed, and no measure of how soon the roof would need replacing, for instance, and other things like that would need doing. That's the kind of financial information that the Town Council insists on before it enters into any obligation. with the lease, and we were able to run it for a while and see how things went, sort of suck it and see. That wouldn't have been an opportunity with Chiltern when we were last offered it, and I'm not sure what undertakings Route of Life have received from the authority. It's most unusual in my experience for them to hand over property at peppercorn rent and not expect you to do a fully repairing and insuring type agreement. Anybody else on this item?
So I've just got a couple of other very quick things. Corner of Hollands Road, Dudley Hill, we always spoke about the thing. It appears that Vauxhall have taken to using it as a local advertising centre. I don't know if you noticed that. And also somebody else has put something on the railings, which I did take a photograph of. I have no idea who, I mean, presumably the railings are owned by Wisdom, I guess. And the land is owned by Highways, I presume.
I think you need not worry too much about that. Come the 20th and 21st of March, a large number of the signs attached to railings around Haverhill will disappear.
I thought I'd just mention it anyway. And one other very quick thing, sorry, very quick thing. Going back to the police one, I don't know, did I miss that? They're not getting rid of SNTs, they're just getting rid of SNT priorities. That's the only thing. So I think, I don't know whether people have misunderstood. The safe and neighbourhood teams will still be there, they're just, their priorities will be set by the local area commander, in this case being Ferry.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Sorry.
No, that's it, thank you, sorry.
Are there any other questions from the public or comments? Thank you, we'll move on then back into standing orders. Item 5, 1 Haverhill. There are two issues in this item that require decision. One is to agree a budget of 2,000 for the community clean-up on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, March 20th and 21st. Principally to cover publicity and the equipment that we need, safety equipment. The other item is a contribution of £20,000 towards the town centre master plan consultancy costs. Both these sums have been set aside previously by the town council to do with matters affecting the growth and development of the high street. Councillor Billy.
Propose that we accept both these.
Any other comments? Councillor Taylor.
I'll second that.
Any comments?
I was going to second it.
Okay. All those in favour of those two sums? Thank you.
Yeah, can I just ask about the clean-up, if I may,
Yes,
on the Friday and the Saturday? I'm sure the budget of 2,000 hopefully will cover that. Can I ask how we're advertising to get everybody involved? Are we doing this as a town council or are we leaving it up to the borough?
Well, we're doing it as one Haverhill
It's just
branding,
one
so we do have flyers ready to go out.
Oh, ready
in
to
the
go
high
out,
street.
okay, because I've spoken about it and no one knows what I'm talking about.
Well, the borough do. Lucky the borough street scene, etc. know all about
All right.
it. They're helping us out with interviews, etc.
And those leaflets will be available,
the leaflets-
going to be a drop indoors, or they got to pick them up somewhere?
We're getting down the high street for all the shops to get the visitors involved,
Okay.
and there's an article prepared for the paper on that. We've agreed with the Weekly News a series of promotional items. There's a Facebook page set up. Ex-councillor Jerry Kernan has kindly given us permission to use cb9.co.uk
Yeah, I noticed that.
to
It's good.
promote the CB9 Give It a Shine. So that's populated along with Facebook, etc.
And
So
the
this-
muster point for people to meet
Is
and
here.
get there, is it here?
Is here.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I hope
Item-
everyone attends.
Item 6, adoption of committee reports. Personnel committee, move for adoption. All those in favour?
Town centre master plan.
All right. We've got one now. So the green sheet, any questions on page 147? Any questions on page 148?
So you just have B,
B.
5B.
We did both.
That's my favourite one.
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My fault, I got them together. Keep asking about this.
Any questions on 148? Anything on 149? Take it up and sign those. Some you can sign those as
We'll have the general sign this one.
that the chair's letter, sign the next meeting. Move to adopt that report, those minutes, sorry.
Yeah.
6B, Planning Committee, to move the adoption of minutes of Planning Committee meetings held on 3rd of February, and to note any matters arising from the meeting held this evening. Any questions, comments? Move to adopt those
I'll move
minutes.
to adopt. I'll move to adopt.
Okay. Those in favour? Okay. Item 7 is authorised payments. Which remind councillors, cheque payments checked by 2 councillors, county signatory. This is a summary of the schedules of various cheques that have been signed. You will note from below in the summary of the authorisations that there was one included there in respect to the Christmas lights, a substantial one.
Plus 25,000 for the grants, so that's about the first 59,000.
Seek your authorisation of those payments. All those in favour?
So
Thank
you
you.
propose a second.
I'll propose it.
Second.
I'll second it.
Item 8, to receive any urgent correspondence. And these staffing matters.
Staffing matters in item 10 after the present public excluded.
They are in printing camera. That brings us to item 9, where we exclude the press and public. Thank you for your attendance. We're not getting rid of you because we don't like you, we'll get rid of you because we've got confidential matters to discuss.
I don't think you're a